Nancy Pelosi is back at it again, and she just can't lose. And when she does, it's like a small trade just to make her look human. So we're gonna dive into one of her latest trades. Now, she bought Leaps on ticker TEM, and just all of this attention being brought into it, it checked a bunch of boxes for me, so even I got into it. And if you are part of the Patreon, right, and if you're in my group, you kind of got just a whole bunch of alerts today, so I'm going to break down that. We're going to talk about TEM, and then I'm going to break down the normal stuff that I do, right? The dollar, Bitcoin, the S&P, the NASDAQ, Grandpa Dow, and the Russell. We'll also take a look at Apple. Okay, so jumping into this TEM this morning, again, I just want to break this down because you guys probably got a lot of alerts, and this is how it's going to pan out because Robinhood is getting ready to have futures on their account. And honestly, this is kind of how I trail stuff, especially in the first beginning. It's still in the morning. It's volatility. And you can see, so I already bought it the other day, TEM. So this morning, right after the bell, put a stop loss at 53.85. We've seen it pump, and then it comes right back down to the 40s. So then a little bit later, just a little bit later, I moved it to 54.45. Put a stop loss in on XLU. We're still in that. Moved the stop loss up again to 55.35. Now, at this point, it actually based out. We added 10 shares. By we, I just mean I. I just post everything I do. You do what you want with that information. Added 10 shares, same stop loss. So got some more at 55.91. And that's because we were basing out. And I even said it either it pushes with momentum or it pulls back here, I think. And then right after that, I'll show you guys on the charts in a second. TEM pumped. We got a new stop at 56.35. And I said I'm leaving it here if it continues up. And then finally, I said it did tag out. I said this is the end of the saga, I think, for TM today. Tagged out the previous stop. I bought 10 more shares back at 53.73. Just given now, this is the account that we started with 0, right? So in a momentum ticker like this, and just kind of where I'm at, I didn't want to put a whole lot into it. Now my main account, I actually already sold some 60 strike calls for this Friday. It pulled back. I locked those in. This one's been an absolute banger ticker to have. So jumping into the charts right here real quick, you can see this is the push up. We finally broke up. That's where I started putting stops in place. And then we based out. So this is where I added more. And when I add more, the one thing I don't want to do, regardless of account size, is ride 500 shares up and 1,000 shares down. That's just not happening. So once it broke up, this is where I said, hey, we're either pushing or we're pulling back. And it's kind of right here. We're going to reject this. And we kind of did, but we pulled right back up, which is why I was thinking we're probably going to get the continuation and why I added on, because we hit this zone last time, reject, came right back down. And then here again, we're sub 50. We're in the 49. So I'm just kind of thinking I'm going to get cute with this play, which means I'm just going to skip some red candles. I'm going to take some profit and I'm going to get right back in. We're just going to skip some of that red in between. So to break that down, that's what I was looking at there. It popped up, moved my stop up again. And I put the stop at 56.35, and I almost did 56.85, but I was really just kind of nervous going into the 15-minute time frame. I was really kind of nervous we would come right down to there and then bounce. But I want you guys to notice one thing. This is it helps out a lot, tremendously, right? You might think you're only skipping a couple bucks here or there. First of all, from 51 to 55 or 56, so there's a little 10% there. We sell it at 56.35. 53.73 was where I bought back in at. 53.73. A few pennies from the bottom. And then we're still in that, so it's right back up. So I got to skip out on that little bit and then get right back in. So as opposed to just holding it, yeah, I would still be up and we're good. But I got to skip all that little red, essentially taking these, instead of this, we grabbed it right there, if that makes sense. So we're just a little bit higher. So anytime you guys hear me say I'm getting cute with it, that's what I mean. I want to stop out. I'm trailing. I'm going to keep it nice and tight. We're going to kind of hug it a little bit. You still kind of want to give it a little bit of breathing room, and that honestly is much easier said than done. That does come with experience about knowing just how far things can pull back. And even then, a lot of times it'll still come down, tag me out, turn around. The next point, I sold the 60s just to collect some premium. I already bought those back when it pulled back. So it was just a great day. Getting above this $59 mark, 60 might be a psychological level, but I'm kind of more worried about the 65 right here. I think it's starting to pick up some momentum. Now Nancy had bought it, and then I had bought it. And then the next day they came out and they released an app. And so it's almost like someone knew something. Anyway, AI in healthcare. And this is why I'm going to keep this one. Because it pushed up, and this is a normal, like, oh, Pelosi bought it, so it turns into like a pump and dump, and it's very quick. But the fact that we held on to this is what kind of gave me that conviction, I guess. Now, Nancy's not a day trader. She's going to hold on to this. She's going to ride all of this out to the end of the year. But I'm kind of thinking we're working our way up to this next level right up here. If we were to actually jump into this 70, let's say next week pans out, we go to here, we base out, we send it to here again. At that point, I do want to keep some of my shares. So what I'll probably end up doing is just selling some slightly in the money calls. I'll collect that premium and things will get called away. But right now, I do think we're gearing up for the next move up. So, because every time someone asks me, they love to ask me, is it too late to buy after I've already bought everything, and it's already up. We've already made money on it. But hey, is it too late? I mean, why not? It's probably not too late to buy AMC. It's going to 100,000, right? Anyway, just kidding. If I were to buy it right now, my question or my debate would be, should I put it below this yellow zone or move it nice and tight? A couple ways to play it. Buy it right now and put your stop at 54.85 and get back in. If you stop at 54.85, you can monitor it as it gets back into this yellow zone. Because what if it just tags out and melts down? What if it just doesn't stop? Then you'll be happy you had it up here. Sometimes putting your stop weight on here just means it takes a little bit longer to stop out. So do that. Maybe you just don't want to run the risk of a day trade or something like that, and you give it a little bit more wiggle room. I would put my stop down here at 49.85. So for anyone following, this was a single day trade. Because I added on today, it popped up, and then we sold it, right? So that's one day trade. Buying it back in doesn't mean anything else. It just means we're back in. I can't remember the last time we even took a day trade in this account. It just happens that we did today. So I'm going to move into futures right now, but let me know real quick down below. Are you in TEM? Do you care what Pelosi trades? And what's your overall plan with it? Jumping into the futures like I normally do, the dollar still hanging out, just doing nothing. Nothing at all. Now, I'm short the U.S. dollar, Japanese yen, so that does need to go. I will say I did this. I'm long this. So I'm short the U.S. dollar, Japanese yen. I'm long the U.S. CAD, and I don't like doing this. Well, the reason why I went long was because, we're kind of making some higher lows. This got called out in my chat and said, hey, what do you think? It's like, it's a giant, just you can call it a bull flag, rally base, and I'm thinking rally again. So right now, as soon as I'm done recording this, I'm going to put my stop up here in the green. But even though I am still short the dollar, I played this one purely off the technicals in general on this one. It was just a hard one to ignore. So in the meantime, I'm short and long the dollar. Bitcoin had a nice little push up today, so we finally got broke above, hanging out. Last time you guys watched this was a yellow zone right here, and these were two blue zones. But we played the back and forth game enough that I thought we should mirror those. Right now, I would be looking, if I were to trade this, I would be looking for a dip buy right here. As long as Bitcoin can hold above like 103,750, then I think we're rocking and rolling. We'll see how we'll see what sellers are up here at the 107, 108 level. Jumping into the S&P today, we whole lot nothing. Again, played the back and forth game between the two zones right here. Now, the futures just opened up, and they gapped up into that zone. So that's where our first sellers were at. So that is good to see. I'm sure someone's going to talk about the gap fill. I don't necessarily care about that, especially to the upside in a bullish market. Of course it is. Right now, with that gap up, it's a zone until not, right? So we're looking for a rejection. You're looking for sellers right here. In theory, you should be probably short with a stop right here. I would be looking for the dip buy on this one. Told you guys yesterday I was bullish. Nothing's changed. As far as the expected move, all we did was drop right down to it. Well, sorry, we got outside of it, reined it back in, bounced off it again, kind of hung out. This week, I expect to end. If tomorrow's bullish and we end the week right here, we did nothing. It's gonna be a gap down and a green candle, but that's it. The NASDAQ right here, again, played a lot of the zone to zone. For you futures traders out there, you'd be long here, you'd be short here. So shout out to my admin. I know he nailed a short right here to Cody. Same thing. This gapped up, hit that zone, sold off a little bit right now. Again, I would be bullish. As far as the expected moves go, same thing, same story. Grandpa Dow, looks like he finally got out a little bit. Kind of pushed up, sold off, kind of working its way up, trying to get himself out of the old folks' home. He was stuck in that zone for a while. But that's going to be, we're just shy. So I bet Grandpa Dow hits all-time highs tomorrow. Win the weekend there. The Russell doing a whole lot of nothing. If you're trading the futures, you would go short here, go long here. Until that horizontal pattern changes, you'll just keep making the same trade. Now, I do have some Apple calls, so I want to see how their earnings was. Wow, so we went 2 standard deviations, jumped up all the way to that zone, hit that, sold off. I did not prepare for this as far as Apple. I just forgot I was even in it. Looks like we have a reported 240, estimated 238 per share. Revenue, we estimated 124.26. We came in at a 124.3. Looks like their guidance was going to be all right. The reason why I liked Apple and why I got calls, and if you've been watching the past few streams, then you know this. It had just sold off. There was a lot of tariff news and all that. And last time we had a tariff war, Apple got an exempt. And the little exempt notice, like, Dad, don't worry, we're going to tariff everything else, but you're good. Keep bringing those iPhones over. Like, man, this is round 2. So I like that. Glad that they had good earnings tomorrow. I'll probably just sell to the nearest nerd at the bid. That's how I just trade earnings. Tomorrow at the bell, yeah, hope for the continuation, but I'll end up selling it, lock it in, call it a day. If you're trading earnings kind of any other way, I would just caution what you're doing. It's a gamble play. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'll wrap it up here. Let me know what you think down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.